Okay, all right. What we're gonna do is we're gonna do a show. This is a weekly show. You know that. You know, it's a weekly show. That means we do one week and then we do another week, and we say hello to everybody, and you eat dog biscuits, and Daddy looks at pictures and talks about the Buzzy Flood, and then we get it all done, and that's how we do it. Yeah, it's a bunch of fun. Yeah, and everybody comes and hangs out with us, and we enjoy our daggone Sunday because that's what we do. Okay, well, whew. All right. Oh, okay. Are you ready to go? Can we start the show already? People's out there waiting, I imagine. You want to start the show? Okay, ready? Come on, do the show. Come on, do it. Oh, we ain't gonna do no show now. You don't even want to come. You don't even want to come do the show. All right, man, forget it. You gonna do a show? Okay, we're gonna do a show. You getting hair all over me? Well, I look like a doggone hair supply store. What the world? Okay, ready? One, two, three. Welcome to Muddin and BEAGS, episode 49. We're ready to roll. Hello, Mr. Ziggy Thor. Hello, Miss Hippie Shake. Hello, Miss Kathy Bryden. Hello, Orphan Annie. How you doing? What's your problem? Who you hollering at? All right, we're in the driver's seat. We're ready to go, and we're gonna give somebody a biscuit so he'll go and play whatever he does. And I hope you all are doing well. I hope you all had a great week. It's been hot here. I've been hiding out in the cool. Hippie says that I got hair all over me. Hippie says she doesn't have no AC. That's pure crazy talk. But that's all right. We're crazy up in here, up in here. All right, we'll get through with the pleasantries, and we will be right back.
You think you know my struggles, my pain, my journey? Let me tell you something. Don't judge me by what you see or hear. I didn't walk this path to impress anyone. People love to point fingers, to act like they know everything. They don't know my story. You don't know what I had to sacrifice. Because everything I've become was built from battles you never saw.
All righty, I think we're ready to go. Okay, we got the beagle situated somewhere. Okay. Alrighty, and I figured we start out tonight having a little shot of radium water glass water, radium water. Get that down. Might not be able to see it too good, but that's some radium glass that I picked up. It's got some kind of logo on the bottom there. Anyways, a very expensive little piece of glass. Alrighty, so where do we start? Where do we start? Okay, so let me present the screen. See how I do that. Okay, we're gonna start off this week with an update to Pittsburgh Hump cut research, and show you kind of where I've gone this week. Haven't been able to do a whole lot as much as usual this week. It's been a very busy week for me. Let me see. Okay, I don't think it's sharing. Okay, hold on. Let me try it again. Oh, nope. Remove, add to stage. I don't know why it's remove. Maybe that's it. I don't know. Add to stage. That did it. Okay, there we go. We got it now. Okay, so again, this is the 1905 Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania Sanborn fire map from 1905. And to let you remember, This color right here is a stone building. Blue, this kind of blue would be also a stone building, usually for churches. Red is a brick building, which is the one I want you to focus on the most, and yellow is a wood frame building. And this is the key. So if you have any other questions, you might see these a lot. Fire alarm box route. Anyways, so this week I did 56, 57, 58, 59, and 60. And so we start off with 56. And the idea, hold on, buttons aren't toys. Oh, and I got rid of the thing at the bottom, the film strip thing that was driving me absolutely up the wall. I figured out how to get rid of that. So I got rid of that thing, driving me crazy. This is a building. This is a brick building, and this would be probably this shape is really interesting because there are so many houses that are exactly this. I call it L shape, and I'm calling it L shape because sometimes they're turned to the left, sometimes they're turned to the right. So I call it, as I'm trying to figure it out, I'm going L left or L right as I look at it. Like this would be a L left, and this would be a L right. Just so you know. So, anyways, so this is kind of give you an idea what's here. It's like a big church there, but these are not little buildings. These are, I'd say the average of one of these is probably, without running a tape measure, 30 to 40 foot. Okay, they're saying this is 40 foot right here. I'd say these buildings are about 40 foot by about 15 wide. But they're 3 stories with basements. So they're not little. They look little on this paper, but they're not little. So anyways, I want you to understand what we're looking at here. So this is what is left. Everything in green is now gone. And so you have just a few of those structures left. And the next one is this one. And some of the road names have changed. Wiley's still the same. Juliana's still the same. Chauncey's still the same. But a lot of these smaller streets have changed names. Webster's still the same. So it can be quite complicated to figure this out. So everything in green is now gone. Everything that is not green, go play somewhere, is still there. So this is map 58. And you've already had your biscuits, so don't even act like you hadn't. You had your manicure today. That's what's left. And so it continues with the absolute destruction of Pittsburgh. As you can see, this is map 59. Got a lot of houses down this way. Most of the wood frame structures did not survive from 1905 till now. I mean, you can imagine that would be a long stretch for a wood frame house to last. And a lot of them actually were replaced with brick. So that's what's left. Got the Beagle in the lap now. This one actually had quite a few left. Amazing. And this is map 60. And every time I see this Heron Avenue, I think of heroin, like because they call it heroin. This is what's left. So the trend continues. So that is that business. And I did not. I got halfway through the next section of the map and ran out of time, so I didn't get that done. But I wanted to share you a little something extra I found. Hello, Fossil Unleashed or Leashed. I can't even see it. Sunleashed. Cool. And where he said hello, Miss Kathy. Okay, so oh, okay, I found a little extra something this week that I wanted to share with you. Let me share the screens these. Make sure, figure out which one I want. This one. Okay. And what we're gonna look at here is when I was, if you remember last week, I was talking about how I had a coincidence happen where um, I was looking at one of the Sanborn fire maps, and I stopped for the night, and I was going to go to the next map, which was the next page over in the map, the next street over. And that night I ran across a video talking about this writer that lived in Pittsburgh, and he was a famous writer, playwright, and his home was being saved for historic purposes. And so I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I went to look into him, and come to find out his house was located in the exact map I was going to look at the next day. And that house is the August Wilson house. And this is the house here. It's nothing special. It's there's a million of these homes in Pittsburgh. But what it did, I kept coming back to it this week thinking, what is it? Okay, when you have a coincidence like that, it's not a coincidence. Okay, you should pay attention to these things. Why am I having this coincidence? What are the odds that this house that came up on my feed was on the exact map that I was going to look at the next day? Like, what are the odds of that? Like, they're astronomical. So there had to be some sort of connection. And I think I found the connection this week. I went back and took another look at this guy, August Wilson. That's this guy right here. And he wrote his work was mainly talking about Pittsburgh, from my understanding. And more importantly, and I think there's a movie that you might want to check out. Let's see if I can find it. Work. It's called Fences. Da, 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 da. Not sure where. I don't see it listed anywhere, but it's on here. It stars that guy on that famous actor. Oh gosh, I have a brain fart. There it is, Fences. It was a play, and then it was made into a movie, and film adaptation. Here we go. Denzel Washington. Okay, and I haven't watched it yet, but it looks interesting. But what's important about this is that his work mainly is based on what's called the Hill District. Now, the Hill District is a little bit complicated. So we're going to kind of just brush it a little bit. And the Hill District is, okay, let me give you an idea. The Pittsburgh Hump cut that we've been studying is this area. Okay? This area here. So this is the Hump cut. This is the Hump District. But the Hill District is, in a nutshell, this area. Okay? Now, there you see right here, it says Hill District. Okay. But there's like districts within the district. There's the Middle Hill. I think there's an Upper Hill right here. I think this. There's different ones, but I was looking at this hill district, and as I was going through these Sanborn fire maps, I'm noticing that, and I've said this quite a few times now. This is where this was part of the hill district. This was where they had a big stadium. This was part of the hill district at one time, and this area was I don't know if it was the whole area, but a majority of it was a low income black neighborhood. And it was in really, really bad shape. And so they decided to demolish it in the 50s. And I was noticing as I'm going through this that so much is new here. Even though it looks like there's a lot of stuff here, all this stuff is new for the most part. I'd say 90% plus, probably more like 95. See, there's some old stuff right there, but you also have to be careful, because when I'm doing this research, I'm finding that a lot of this stuff that looks old is not old, even though it looks old, that they were built after 1905. But my point is that I was noticing that they had demolished 90 to 95% of this area, and now I have found evidence that they actually did this. This was a campaign to demolish the Hill District and rebuild it, trying to look like, freaking every other city in the world. However, they kept, like, here's a great example. You see the shape of this roof. This is the shape of a lot of the old Pittsburgh houses. You see it everywhere. See, there's another one. But that shape is very, very common on the old houses. And if I find an older one, I'll show it to you. So my point is that they actually, there is evidence that they actually did a campaign to destroy this. Now, here is the wiki page for the Hill District. And there's a lot of information here. We don't have time to go through this, but you'll see that this is the area I was talking about. The Hump cut would have been right in this area, and this is the Hill District. And it breaks it up by different neighborhoods. And so that was this up here. Okay, and they talk about see if I can find it. Economic decline. And I don't think these numbers are accurate, but I think this is what they tell people. In the summer of 1956, some 1,300 structures were razed, displacing 1,500 families, more than 8,000 residents, the great majority of whom were black. This cleared the way for construction of the Civic Arena and adjacent parking. Now, that was that one little section I showed you, but they did the whole Hill District, okay, to support downtown events and attract major entertainment. That arena has now been demolished, but the redevelopment severed the Hill District from surrounding neighborhoods, resulting in its dramatic economic decline. This structural problem was exacerbated by a decline of Pittsburgh population more generally, as jobs disappeared due to the industrial restructuring, and numerous middle-class residents moved out to the newer suburban housing. Between 1950 and 1990, the Hill lost 71% of its residents, more than 38,000 individuals, and 400 businesses, leaving the neighborhood hollowed out. Many people displaced from the Hill moved to the East Liberty and Homewood Rushton neighborhoods. In a ripple effect, middle-class families, both white and black, left these areas and moved to newer suburban housing. And I was reading where they just recently got a um, um, they had no grocery store, and they had um, no pharmacy, and so that was something that they just recently got, and it was like um, a big deal. Basically, they 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 took these people's um, they took these people's area and just decimated it. They just flattened it. And I think they also literally flattened it. I think they went in and cut that hill down. I think it's another hump cut, but I think it's a modern day hump cut. There's more research that I think needs to be done there. So um, that's that. So now that we got that out of the way, I think we'll go ahead and get into doing our mudding for tonight. And I hope you all are enjoying yourselves and saying hello to your friends and being cordial and, kicking a meltologist in the nuts every now and then behind my back. I ain't going to argue it. And let's see. Shares the screensies. And make sure we got our doodadded. And there we go. Okay. All right. So we're going to start off Assembling Department National Cash Register, Dayton, Ohio in 1902. And these old cash registers are really cool. Pure mechanics. And again, these are glass plate negatives that were taken by the Detroit Photographic Company, and they traveled around the United States. They also went to Europe, but during this time, they went into the United States, all across the United States, and they took glass plate negatives, which are absolutely some of the most high resolution photographs ever. I mean, they don't even make sense. Matter of fact, photography, I think, took a dive after they stopped using these. They had I don't really understand why they're so high tech. I don't know what it is about these. This photographic method that made them so amazing. But in 1902, to take a picture like this is that power system that's, I believe, is an old free energy tech. You would have a spindle going down the center of the workspace right here, and that would be attached to an engine. Okay, and that engine could have been powered by water, could have been powered by wind, it could have been powered by a generator, it could have been powered by a lot of things, free energy. And then you attached a belt to that spinning rod right there, and that belt would go down to your device, and that would power your device. So you would have one energy source running all the equipment. And this is actually a small facility. A lot of these things were absolutely humongous with how many devices they had running off of them. You can see the wheels up in the ceiling. So that's just, in my opinion, a free energy device. And it boils down to what was powering this rod here. It's we do have evidence that it was powered in some cases by water, some cases by wind. Other cases, they later, I think, hooked up generators, but what were they originally? I mean, we don't really know, but that's something interesting. We got Cadillac Square and County Building, Detroit, Michigan, 1902. And I've got some of these touring trolleys, I like to call them. They're people just kind of, I think these were kind of like almost like a touring, like you would tour around the city on them. Very much like an attraction. kind of weird, not like a normal trolley. Um, like you wouldn't want to ride this in the rain, or the snow or the cold. There's Fred. Fred being the horse that built America, so that means you're all on donkey watch now. So we're looking out for that famous donkey. And there's a Mudflood drop in right there. And it looks like a little pavement light there. And there's some more pavement light right there. Pavement light is glass pavement that allowed light down into the basements. We got some pretty awnings there. Got some ether cresting here. Got an ether antenna right there with a mercury ball. In case you need one of them, get you some free energy. Got a fire escape ladder there with the water, and they could hook the fire hose into that and get water to the roof. Pretty cool. That was added later when we started putting fires in the fireplaces that weren't fireplaces and started burning buildings down. So that was not good, but we did. We're not the brightest candles in the candle store, I don't believe. And there's some more Freds right there hanging out, getting the jobs done. They're the ones that, Fred's brought in all this brick, supposedly. We got to go to the official story. That's all we got. Yeah, I guess you did something right there, Siggy. Good job. Happy Father's Day to all your fathers out there. And got some obelisk on the top of this building. Architectural urns. Wind catcher. Eagle representing the phoenix. Look at that finial. Dun, dun, dun. She about to kick somebody's booty. Laurel leaf control. I would imagine that there was an obelisk on the top of that at one point. Eagle represent the phoenix. Horseshit narrative statues. They would have been added. I don't believe the Civil War was anything compared to what they told us. I think that was just a campaign to eradicate the old world. There is Pooper Scooper Man. I think there were many campaigns. World War I, World War II. Now they're blowing up Iran. They did Iraq. That's the reason they do these wars a lot of times. It's one of the reasons, because they want to eradicate the old world, and they're very good at it. They know how to bomb the shit out of things. Let's see. A lot of Freds lined up, still looking for the donkey. And reading back over last week's chat, I saw that Streets was talking about My Lunch Break has sold his channel to an AI channel, and I don't know how legitimate that is, because I don't know anything about it, but kind of looking at it with that set of goggles now, the more the recent stuff, let's say over the last 6 months, man, I don't know if I could argue that something has changed. Now, I'm not saying that's true, but I think it's really interesting. I'll have to find out more about that. I had not had time to deal with it this week, but I think it's something to think about. What's going on there? Do you guys know anything about that? I don't know. That's news to me. And I don't know, Lunchy Break. This is Canadian Pacific Railway Station, Vancouver, British Columbia, 1902. So if you know anything about that, let me know, because that would be very interesting if he did that. I don't know.
That's news to me. So, but I don't know everything. Let's just start there. Hotel Metropole. There's Fred. And Fred. Hey, there's a dog.
Hey, Beagle, there's a dog. Look. See the doggy? Look, there's a doggy.
You don't give a damn, do you? Well, fine, whatever. We'll look at this building by ourselves, anyways. We don't need no big hang out lookouts. Got Torch Field there. Keystones. Ball finials. Whew! Wouldn't want to climb that roof. Oh, look how they've got that chimney braced right there. See that right there? That ties and holds that chimney to the building. And it's got this post going over there. They've got, because they wanted to run this chimney so high, they were concerned about it um, not having enough structure. That's interesting. That's something I've not seen before done like that. See something like that, it makes me wonder if there used to be a porthole in it. I saw a bunch of them up here, over here, there's some there. Um, and you see how there's a level below there. Got a train down there, a ship back there. There's another one of them possible portholes. I don't know. And they got Canal and Powerhouse, Michigan Lake Superior Power Company, Salute Street, maybe. Marie Saint, what is that? Salute Street. I don't know what the hell that is. Marie. I don't know. It's in Michigan. That's a big building. That's no little fella. Is that movie out? Sig, the Disclosure movie? Is that is that hit the theaters? I don't know. Characteristic employees home. What? National Cash Register, Dayton, Ohio, 1902. It's a weird thing. Ladies in uniform. Got the perfect. Just look at the perfection of those dresses. Just perfect. Perfectly white shirts. Hair done perfect. Just everything perfect. No makeup. No makeup. One day, we're gonna get rid of makeup. It's no good. It's no good for you. And I know girls like to feel pretty, but beauty comes from the inside. I think that's where we need to start. Got the Greek key here. I call it the Phoenician wave. This fella's just taking him a look. Check it. He's like, hey, ladies, what's going on? How y'all doing? Look at that. They're building this building here, steel building, and it looks like they're putting Mudflood windows in the bottom. And I think that's something that they did. Um, I think they did copy a lot of buildings to make them look like Mudflood buildings because they wanted to make it seem like they built things that way. Courtroom number 1, Wayne County Building, Detroit, 1902. And you know, that I guess that's a good. Ooh, wow, look at that hashish. Good gracious, my goodness. They're gonna make sure that you know where you are and who is in control there. Good grief. That is fascist in your face. Good gracious. Usually it's like in the background and you can like kind of ignore it. That thing, golly, they're gonna make sure you know where you're at. Look at the owl. Very interesting. Look at the marble. This is an interesting room, that's for sure. Welcome, Odin's Raven. How you doing? How you doing? Look at that ceiling. Jeez. Come on. Why do you need this in 1902? Like, seriously. I can't even like where's the justification for building this nicely? What, like, really? Why? Do y'all realize how hard life was in 1902 for the average person? I'm not talking about the rich. I'm talking about the average person. They had to churn their own butter. They had to milk their own cows. They shit in outhouses. Okay? You imagine getting up in the middle of the night, having to walk downstairs outside in the cold or in the heat with a lantern to go take a dump. And there's people living like this? Come on. Dayton Club, Dayton, Ohio, 1902. Hello, Masonic Q. Okay, so I was thinking this week about generations, and you know, you got your Gen X, and that's you got your boomers, that's before me, and then you got your Gen X, that's me, then you got your millennials, and I don't know how they don't drown in the shower, and then you got the Gen Zs, and they're about dumb as a box of bricks, and then you got the Gen Alphas, and y'all, I'm here to tell you, we are so fucked. They are our future. Gen Alpha is they're beyond brain dead. They have absolutely no way to critical think. They can't do it. They cannot think their way out of a paper bag. They that what's happened is, and this is our fault collectively, is that we raised them on screens, and so all they know is screens. And if it doesn't come from a screen, they don't understand it, and they don't believe it. And it's a lot worse than that. Okay, there's videos out there showing, like, here's an example. There was one where a mother gives her child it was this little girl. She was young. I don't know how young, maybe 3 or 4. And she gives her the screen. She might be a little older than that. She was very young, and she gives her the screen, and gives her the phone, and she says, read the sentence. She reads the sentence off the screen, Greek key, and the girl reads the sentence off the screen perfectly. Then the mother gives the little girl a handwritten note, and the first word is she, and she says, Mommy, what's this word? And she says, what word? She pointed to the first word. She says, spell it out. 1893 on that gutter right there. And the little girl says, I can't read it. She says, well, what does it spell it out? Try to spell out the word. And she says, I can't read it. She says, it's spelled S-H-E. What is that word? She goes, I don't know. She goes, she hands the note back to her mother and says, you need to write it properly. And here's the point, because the note was handwritten, not badly written, just handwritten, because it was not typed on a screen, the little girl could not read it. That is beyond dumb. That is zombie behavior. That is literally like dumber than a box of bricks. Like that is insanity. Now another one where the kids are they'll like a teacher will say, tell them to they'll tell them something, tell them a fact, right? And the child will chat GPT it or grok it and say, yeah, grok says it's correct, says you're correct. They don't believe the teacher. There's a wind catcher window right there. It looks like a porthole, but it just opens. It's a wind catcher window. These children are they literally cannot think. Another thing, the AI is like, it's like they don't have to. They feel like they don't have to think. There's no reason to think. Like, thinking is going to become outdated, because why think when you can just look it up on Grok or Chat GPT or the next AI? Why? Look at that stained glass right there. How pretty is that? Why look up? Why critically think it when you could just AI it? Why? There's no reason. To them, there is no reason. Like, there's literally no reason for them to do anything. This is during a performance at Hammerstein's Paradise Gardens, New York, between 1901 and 1906. So, looks like everybody's decked to the nines. Got some knob and tube lights up here, incandescent lights. Got a unscrubbed cartouche at the top. Might be scrubbed at the bottom, I don't know. Yeah, woodwork there. Now see, you can tell that this woodwork was original, but then this was added by us. This is where they added the electrical lights. And you can tell that's probably a sheet metal that's been formed over that. I can tell that. Maybe you can't tell that, but that's what that is. My point is that I don't know if you guys have realized this yet, but you are the last generations that have the ability to critical think. You are also the last generations that will ever be able to understand the Mudflood or the old world or Tartaria or conspiracy theories or anything that has to do with critical thinking. You are the last hope. We're not going to have the Gen Zs that they're basically they're halfway in between being, dumb as a peanut and a popsicle. I mean, they're pretty much fucked. But Gen Alpha, they're fully fucked. Gen Alpha, that whole generation, and it's already over. You're not going to fix it. They are just a lost generation. They are useless. And I know you guys have grandchildren that are these children, but I'm telling you, they're fucked. Okay, we need to start over. There needs to be new generation. Take away the screens. No screens. Like, no screens. Like, take away the fucking screens. That you've got to get the screens out of their hands, and it's too late to take them away now. They literally, like, they will literally cut your throat. You take their screen from them now. Towards field. So let them just fade into the ether. Like, we're going to start over. Gen Alpha is they're toast. We need to start over. It's a completely lost generation. Gen Z is basically lost. Millennials are like, they might survive, but I don't know. They're not that great. But Gen X is the last of the. They're the last hope for humanity, I think. That's scary. This is entrance to state capital Albany, New York, between 1900 and 1906. But you guys are the last people that are going to have the ability to critically think about the mud flood and what that means, and what you're not. There's just not going to be any people after us. There might be people that come to it and enjoy looking at the stuff, but they're not going to be able to critically think about it. They're just not going to have the cognitive ability. They're not going to have the consciousness to do that. I hate to put that on y'all's shoulders, but you know, got the Templar cross there. Look at that ether finial. It's wild. Look at this ether light, etheric light here. Good grief. Boy, I'd love to have one of them. That thing is that's just wild. Like, eagle representing the phoenix. Look at that stonework there, just unbelievable. Incredible. Acanthus leaves. Check that out. That turkey. So, anyways, we're hate to put that on your shoulders, but y'all are the last hope of humanity to get this world fixed. And I'm dead serious, y'all. Y'all might think I'm joking. I'm not even joking. Gen Alpha they're gone. They're not. Go watch videos about teachers talking about Gen Alpha, and you're gonna be like, oh shit. The teachers are literally pulling their hair out. They're so they do not know what to do with the children. They don't know. Like this, I watch story after story of them talking about it, and it's just it's terrifying how bad these screens have hurt these children. They're it's bad, y'all. Y'all don't even. I'm telling you, just go watch some videos on it. Oh yeah, Sig. I remember when calculators were contraband. Like you were like, if you had a calculator, people were getting these calculator watches and like getting in trouble, and like, you know, that was a no go. That thing is wild. So, but that changed, I believe, with the millennials. I think that just flipped around, and now there's circumpunct, original symbol for the creator. So, you know, the kids now they can't even count. There's just no. This reminds me of Terrence Howard, and this lady I saw today. She was saying. She was talking about how it wasn't related to Terrence Howard, but it was, because, you know, he's got his what's 1 times 1, and then like you got Phoenician Shell, And this lady was saying, "What is 1 plus 1?" Asking this guy, and he said 2, and then she said, "Well, if you have 1 load of laundry and another load of laundry, how many loads of laundry do you have?" And her point was, it's it's a perspective. And I thought, that's very true. If you got 2 cars and if you got, do you add 1 car plus 1 car? Do you have 2 cars, or do you have 1 car? Like, is it 2 separate cars? And it's 1 car plus it. Like, I don't know. It's just an interesting way of thinking about it. I guess it's a way of like thinking outside the box and kind of challenging the status quo of how there's a ladder lane for Douglas. Shout out UAP. There's so much on this building. It's just never ending, isn't it? Oh, look at those wind catcher windows right there. You can see them half open there. Little portholes there. Look at those etheric lights. Beautiful. There's a lot going on in that picture. And that's why I love these high resolution photographs. Here's another. This is the East Steps. It's the same building here. A little bit different angle. It's like a buffalo. Some Mudflood winners there. Do. Yeah, the kids today, they can't read cursive. I can't do it. I can't do math if it's not, on a calculator. And it's not their fault. Let me be clear that it's not that they were born dumb. They're not. They were born, like everybody else. But we have allowed, look at the Mudflood winners down there. Mudflood drop in. We have allowed them to be babysat by these screens because it's easy. I get it. I completely understand. You got, these rugrats, and they drive you absolutely up the damn wall, and you give them a screen and they shut up. And finally you get that peace you've been so hoping for. And then, you just keep giving them the screen, There's Fred hanging out. So, I mean, I get it. I understand why we did it. I get that. It's not like I don't get that. I get it. But we fucked up. Collectively, we fucked up. Floral Clock and Tower Waterworks Park, Detroit, 1902. Now, I'm not saying that every child is hopeless. Let me be clear. Let's be honest, y'all. I'm gonna be straight up honest with you. The upper echelons, the people with money, they're not. Their children, in a lot of ways, are not being allowed to do this. They're not being babysat by screens. That clock has 4 ones for you Mandela affected folks. They're being kept away from the screens. They're in the higher education, in the private schools, in these private schools are not being this is the Floral Clock and Tower Waterworks Park, Detroit, 1902. I don't know if I read that. Arc lights at the cresting. They're not being allowed to do that. They do get screen time, but they're not being raised by a screen. I was in the thrift store the other day. There was this little girl. She was probably 3 years old, 2 years old. Something. I don't know. She was probably 3, maybe 4. Anyway, she was a little thing, and she was in a screen, and like the whole time I was in there, she never once looked up from her screen. She just literally was oblivious to anything going on around her. Just absolutely, completely oblivious. Franklin Hall Soldiers Home, Dayton, Ohio, 1902. And you know, when it's that's really sad. Those stairs are way too tall. They wouldn't do that today. See how tall those stairs are? I don't know. Just we're in trouble. Um, the flat Earth asterisk, in case you need that. Porthole. Little birdies up here. Taurus fields. These are supposedly the Civil War guys. Look how they're dressed. I think that the Civil War was a cover story for what they did, where they basically uh, took these armies and went in and bombed stuff and torched stuff and burned things to the ground. I think it was a destruction campaign. And they would tell one side, go, destroy this town. Tell the other side, you go destroy that town. Um, this whole thing about them having battles and there's no pictures. I mean, come on. I don't think there were any battles. I think all that battle bullshit, and the idea of a man standing there and letting somebody fire a damn musket ball at their head, that, and a cannon, you're gonna stand there and let them fire a cannon at you? Fuck that. You're fucking stupid. That's insanity. Nobody's going to do that. I don't care for what country or what where your loyalties lie. Your people are not that stupid. Let's see. Ganoki in Thousand Islands, 1902. You pronounce that? I don't know. I'm no wordsmith, and that's okay. There were so many of these hotels. It's just unbelievable. Look at these ether finials. Unbelievable how many hotels there were back then. Like, who is staying in all these damn hotels? Like, are there that many people in 1900 that had the ability to take, vacations? Like, does anybody freaking work? Like, it doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry, there's just not that many people all the time on vacation. There's just not enough money floating around. I just don't believe it. I'm sorry. Hall of Supervisors, Wayne County Building, Detroit, 1902. Taurus fields. Very nice. Wow. Like, how in the world, like, would you even come up with that? Like, I think I'll do it like this. Like, seriously? What are y'all smoking? Y'all smoking some really good herb to be doing shit like this. Tartarian lines on your lamps, in case you need that. Phoenician shells. Symbology everywhere. Just unbelievable. X on the cartouche. Acanthus leaves. And I'm not on board with acanthus leaves having to do with Jesus. I'm sorry. Hotel Vancouver, Vancouver, BC, 1902. Hello, Turbo Christ. How you doing? She says lawyers are clowns. Let's see. There's etheric lights. I love these round ones. They're so cool. It's like a weird building right there. Mudflood Landers. There's Fred's compadre. Etheric lights. Wow, what's we got going back here? Unscrubbed cartouche. Interesting setup here. Almost looks like they're remodeling that building. I don't know. Interesting. Etheric antenna with the mercury ball. Lock and Drill Department, National Cash Register Company, Dayton, Ohio, 1902. Look how clean they are in their uniforms. Or it's not a uniform. They're just the way they're dressed. I mean, they might be wearing. I think they're wearing aprons, but look, just their clothes. That every lady's wearing a different shirt. But I mean, they're very clean. And I would think that, okay, maybe a cash register lock and drill department, maybe they are a little bit higher skilled than let's say a cotton weaving labor person. But I mean, really, how much, like, what kind of pay rate are they getting? Are they getting paid really enough to be sporting perfectly white shirts to work? I mean, I don't know. And who's doing the laundry if they're at work? Like, you think about this time frame, you think, oh, the ladies stayed home. This is 1902. This is pre-war, right? You think the ladies stay home. These ladies are worker ladies. They're working. So who's taking care of the home? I don't know. I think we've been just sold a whole bunch of shit. There's that electrical wheel system where we got the belts coming down, running the machines. Same over here, the belt and pulley system. Look at these fans will be run by, I don't think you can see it in this, I don't think you can see it in this picture. There's a gas, might be gas light. These fans would be run, I was trying to see if I could see it for you, but these fans will be run by these belt and pulley systems as well. Those systems were really interesting. Main Street, Dayton, Ohio, 1902. It's funny. These buildings look like they'll never go anywhere. And then you look today and so many are gone. Like, really? They built shit right back then. So it's not the construction. That's not the problem. That you look on the Sanborn fire maps, and these buildings will be listed as, like, a building like this will be listed as fireproof. Yeah, then you look and the thing burned down. Like, wait, what? Like that porthole. There's more going on here. There's always something, and they didn't do just one thing. She got that big obelisk back there with a horseshit narrative statue on top. Trolleys. There's Fred coming up. Still looking for that donkey. Haven't found him yet. At the antenna. Um, no, the Turbo Christ is asking, shouldn't they be standing still to so they didn't blur? Um, that was the earlier cameras that were like the right here. You have an example of people moving too fast. These cameras, they only took a few seconds, from my understanding. They weren't like the old ones where it was like 10 to 15 seconds, something like that. So the time that it took to take the picture was dramatically reduced by 1900. And so you have much less of that. Now, if you've got somebody really hauling ass, which you will see, they will disappear. They look like a ghost. And a lot of times they would paint those people out or scratch them out of the picture. And we may even see some of that today. There's a barbershop below down into a Mudflood drop-in. Got Mudflood drop-ins here. But the answer is no. The pictures actually were a lot faster um, at this point. They weren't instant as they are today, but they were. It was like 2 or 3 seconds that you had that problem at this particular time. But it was better to stay still. But if you think about it, a lot of these people are kind of pretty still. Um, they're not hauling ass. Um, they are moving, but they're not, moving super fast. But you see, if they're standing still like this lady, how clear she is. But you see how clear the buildings are. And the like an awning, an awning would be blowing in the wind a little bit or something, but it's very still. I don't know if that answered the question, but the yeah, you'll see the guy, this guy right here. Yeah, see a little bit of blur there. Yeah, whatever happens in let's call it 3 seconds. 1001, 1002, 1003. Um, I don't even know if you can find the exact time because different cameras would have had different time frames as to how long, depending on the quality equipment. Now, this company would have had the best of the photographic equipment. They were just known to have the best of the best. That's where the picture's so good. Tartarian line, 1891. That's why their pictures were so good, because they did use the best of the best. Greek key, Phoenician wave, circle punk, original symbol for the creator, coin with a Q, uh, Roman numeral 4 with 4 1s or 4 I's as opposed to IV, which was the way it was when I was younger. Architectural urns. Yeah. I don't know. I think when I'm around the 1850-ish era is when the cameras were. I think by the Civil War, I think the cameras were pretty good. They were more of the quality you're looking at right here. Um, It really depended on who was taking the picture and the equipment they were using. There was technique to it too. It wasn't all point and shoot back then. Like now, you just pick up a camera, like you take your iPhone out and you take a picture and you got a clear image. Back then, it was to take a photograph. You had to take a piece of glass, get out the collodion silver solution. You had to pour it on the glass. You had to move it around so the solution got all over the glass. You had to let it dry a little bit, and then you had to run out to the camera without tripping and falling. You had to put the glass slide in the camera. You had to get under the camera. You already had to have your camera set up. Like, you're not going to set that up afterwards. You already had to have your camera right. Then you had to pull the cap off, and you had to hold off a count, and you had to put the cap back on. Then you had to take your head out. Then you had to pull the glass plate out. Then you had to run back to the developing tent. And the Detroit Photographic Company, they had a train that they traveled on. They would run back to the train, and they had a dark room in there. And then you had to process it with the chemicals. And this all had to be done very quickly. It was a pain in the ass to take. One of these photographs was it was complicated. It wasn't point and click. It wasn't simple. It wasn't film. It was chemicals and glass and movement and timing. And you had to be on your A game to take a damn picture. So I don't know if that answered anything. Montgomery Ward and Company building Chicago between 1900 and 1906. So I don't know if that helped. Did that help? I don't know. Hopefully. Where are you going, Beagle? Beagle's on the move. Got an ether antenna right there. Two of them with mercury balls. A porthole. Another porthole. Larothastrix right there. Tartarian lions on that one. Little Phoenician shells up there. There's another one in my fire escape ladders, fireman ladders or fire escape ladders, and with the fire hose already attached to it. Interesting technology. Eagle representing the phoenix. That's incredible. There's that weird cartouche I've been trying to figure out what it is. Check that out. Man, like, what in the world is the point of all this? Like, you can't see this stuff from the ground. When you're down here, you're this little fella down here. There is somebody right there. I don't even know if y'all can see this. There is a person right here, and you can see that they were here, here, and here in this photograph. So they were moving fast. So there is a person right there that didn't get taken. It looks like there's something right there, but I can't tell as much. There's another person right here that's moving too fast. They just ghost out if they're moving too fast. Hush, baby. We'll take a break in a minute. There's a person moving right here. There's big arches, porthole. Just a minute, please. Montgomery Ward and Company. Very cool. I don't know if that's answering y'all's question. There's no flat earth asteroids in case you need that. Taurus fields. Hush now.
Give me just 2 seconds, 2 shakes of a lamb's tail, 2 shakes of a beagle's tail. That's all I need, 2 shakes of a beagle's tail. If they're antenna or mercury ball. Just because you squeal don't make me go faster. Maybe it does. All right. I think that was that. So we're going to have to take us a break because somebody can't hold their water. And we will be back shortly. So take a break, you guys. We'll be back soon.
Okay, we're back. We needed a cookie break, y'all. I saw y'all were talking about tin types. Now, what I can tell you about tin types, and let me give you in layman's terms the best I can explain it to you, is tin types is a crappy version of what a glass plate negative is. It's not the same process. But it is a way for them to print onto a surface that you could take with you. So you could get a tin type made, and they would print this image onto the tin type so that you could physically take it home with you. The glass plate negatives were not that. They were a much higher level of skill and quality than the tin types. Tin types were the ghetto version of the glass plate negatives, if that helps. Oh, and another thing I learned is I'm learning all kinds of weird shit about Pittsburgh, y'all, that I never knew. Like Andy Warhol was from Pittsburgh. The show Hill Street Blues. A lot of you will remember that if you were a boomer or Gen X. You will remember the show Hill Street Blues. It's not confirmed 100%, but it is believed that the hill in Hill Street Blues is the Hill District in Pittsburgh. So there's so many connections going on here. The area is really bad, prone to flooding. Another thing they have problem with is when the ice comes down from the winter in the spring, and it will come in chunks, and it's like an ice flood, and it'll come in and it'll bang against things and get into the city. There's a lot of weird history about Pittsburgh I'm learning. So I really just find it really interesting. I never knew there was so much to learn about one little city, but there is. So that being said, we're going to go ahead and get back into it. Oh, I think somebody wants their biscuits. Did you got biscuits already? Wait a minute, I already gave you biscuits while I was sitting there yapping. You don't get more biscuits. Yeah, you thought you were going to get more biscuits. Nah, put back down. Okay. So, well, I got him all riled up now. I'm sorry, that was my mistake. It was an honest mistake. Here, let me get another shot of hooch. Yeah. The nectar of the gods right there. Radium water, y'all. You want some radium water? You spill it all over the place. I know what you do. Little shot of hooch. Sorry, folks. There we go. Okay. All right. So let's get back into it. Get to our next slide. Where are we? Okay. All right. And adds to the stage. All right. And I've got what in the world? Mount Assiniboine something, Alberta. You pronounce that. Who the hell makes these names up? Just insanity. Anyways, I just thought this was interesting because you gotta zip it. Don't even want to hear it. This has been vanilla skied, as you can tell. I just cut the background out. Didn't do too good a job right there. It's just been vanilla skied right on out. Just took the background right on out of it. You can see how, like, there's the background right there. So they don't always do a real perfect job of it. I guess it doesn't matter. And why they do this, I don't know. Was there airship in the background. I don't know. I don't have, I have in this, when I found this picture, there was two or three other pictures of the same mountain, taken at different angles, and there was clouds in the background. So, and of course, the meltologist will tell you that this is a melted building. And, I'd love them to prove that that is a melted building. I mean, they'll, okay, if it's a melted building, prove it. Climb your ass up there, dig in there, and find me a window, a door, a toilet, and whatever the hell else would be in a building. They'll say, "Oh, look at brick lines, brick lines." Just retarded, absolutely retarded. I swear those people get dumber by the day. I literally oh God, I can't even begin to tell you. Mount Stevenson Hotel Field, Yoho Park Reserve, British Columbia. What does that say? Field is the town, I guess. They took a lot of scenic backgrounds. Just eat it. Quit playing with it, you big nut. Just eat it out of the bowl. Don't push the bowl around everywhere like you're going. Where you going with it? You gonna go to China with the bowl and eat it over in China? You American Patriot Beagle. You better eat it here. Sorry, folks. That Beagle is absolutely out his damn mind. I do believe. Yeah, ladder lane right there for Douglas. Yet another hotel in the middle of nowhere. Just like seriously, like why? Why do we need these things? But they did a lot of scenic photographs, kind of like Ansel Adams kind of thing, and they're quite beautiful. I'm not collecting those. I'm picking from 28,000 different photographs in this particular set. So I'm not. It takes a lot. I have to. It is a pain in the ass. You have to. Yeah, let's make sure it's not a melted building. Okay, I don't see any front doors with a door knocker. So this is the same area, just a different angle. Where was I going with that? Little caboose. Where was I going with that? There, yeah, it's their video right there. That's pretty cool right there how they did that. I think the old world had wood construction. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't have that. Why not? Why, because there's things you can do out of wood you can't do out of stone. It gives a different look. I definitely believe old world can be stone. New East River Bridge from Brooklyn between 1900 and 1906. So here you go, 6R, your old neighborhood, sort of. I don't know if exactly is your old neighborhood, but you get the gist. That window was redone right there. All these windows were redone. I've been added. I don't know. Kind of weird. Like how? Like really? Like how did they get those cables up there? That had to have been hard. I mean, look at this little contraption they got here. This little crane thing bullshit they got going. I mean, I don't know. Like, really? Just something ain't adding up. That sailboat back there. That's neat. Oh, buttons aren't toys. Lumber and mahogany. Arc light. That's amazing. 1900. That's unbelievable. North Veranda, Church Hall, Stamford, in the Catskill Mountains, New York, 1902. That wood is getting seriously deteriorated there. Hello, baby. I know. Yes, you enjoy your dinner. Daddy cook good? Yeah, Daddy good cooking. Thank you for coming up here and disturbing me while I'm trying to do show. I guess it's time to take a beagle break. Who doesn't need a beagle break? Flappy ears. Ah! You remember that? Remind me of that mean beagle that flaps his ears and he's flying through. And he's on the red carpet and he's flying around. Okay, that's enough of that. Okay, all right, get away. Trying to work. Trying to look at this picture here. Don't you see the picture? Look at the picture. Yes. Yes, thank you. Okay. Okay, thank you. Wonderful. I'm glad I taste good. What do I taste like? Huh? What do daddies taste like? Huh. Etherphenyl. Another etherphenyl. I love these roasts. Just the designs in them are just so beautiful. The wood, just the quality. I mean, just the extra effort that is required to just, they just went above and beyond in everything they did. There's these little details, and they're so they might look simple, but they're not. You imagine making this right here? I mean, that's not easy. That's a lot of work. A true craftsman. The etherphenyl, directional on it, and Parade Ground and Campus Soldiers Home, Dayton, Ohio, 1902. And if you don't know what a soldier's home is, after the Civil War, they set up all these soldiers' homes, like a retirement home that was like a benefit for the Civil War soldiers. And I think it was just a way to, I think it did two things. I think it took care of the people that were involved in the operation of the Civil War. I don't think there was an actual Civil War, and I think it also kept them separated from society, kept them in these homes, away from other people that they could talk to. That you get old and you start, you can't really control your thoughts and what you say, and there's a ladder lean, and they might say a little bit too much. So if you got them separated in these separate homes, it's a little easier to control them. Just a thought. That may be completely wrong. That's my thinking on it. Diamond symbology. Etherphenyl, wind catchers. Circ antenna, ether cresting. You see how they're all wearing their uniforms? I don't know. Maybe this was a special event this day. I would imagine it's a special event. Why else would they be in their uniforms? But I don't know. There's a gazebo. These were very popular. I believe there was something more going on with gazebos, and they always seem to have this weird underground feature to them. It's like you got this here, and like you can't see anything here, but I bet you a nickel if you got into that thing, you would find something below it. And I don't know why that is. These This one's a little weird with these awnings. I think this is an addition that we made because we love awnings. I mean, who doesn't love a good awning? They're beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I mean, look how beautiful that is. Barbershop, material. So, anyways, these roofs were designed as a technology, and what would happen? I don't know if I can explain this well enough, but the sound would go up, okay, and then it's kind of like a speaker, and this speaker would then project that sound out. So you see how these guys are sitting over here, and the gazebo's over here. The sound would project out, and it would cover this entire area. That was technology. And I have a great example talking about one of these in my video, Posada del Sol, talking about the Posada del Sol hotel in Mexico. And there is one of these inside the hotel, and they're talking about it. Very interesting stuff. So we got Parliament buildings in Toronto. A lot of Canada tonight, it looks like. Do. That is just, I love the stonework on that. That glass ceiling, or glass roof there. Still not sure what cannons are. I don't believe cannons were cannons. I think that's horseshit narrative. Etheric lights. Look how big these doors are. Look at this man and compare it to that door. I mean, come on. Why? Why would you do that? Why would you make your door that big? Tartarian lion. Porthole windows. People hang out up here. That's pretty. It's also a flat earth asterisk, in case you need one of those. They knew in Canada. Oh, they knew. Tartarian lions. Canthus leaves. It's like a serpent running across the roof. I don't know what that is. I'm not sure. No, that's not a serpent. What is that? Eternal flame, I'd say. That is really weird. It looks like the back end of an animal. That's weird. I don't know. What y'all got going on up there in Canada? Some weird shit right there. That's all right. I saw the Raleigh boys won the Stanley Cup. Carolina Hurricanes. So shout out the Canes. That's my hometown. Of course, they didn't bring the Hurricanes there until after I moved away, but still got to shout them out. Okay, I got a series here of Pittsburgh. This is from Mount Washington, and these are in 1902. And I would say 97.5%. Well, I'm not going to say it. I am saying it. Like, this is what I'm telling you. 97.5% of what you're looking at in these pictures inside Pittsburgh. Now that's from this line here to this line here. You see the Allegheny River is here. Now I'm not talking about the stuff back here. I have not looked into that, although it wouldn't hurt. But everything within, let's say, now I don't know about the stuff down at the bottom, but everything below this line right here, 97.5% is gone. They have demolished it. It is no more. So just to give you an idea how much they have gotten rid of in Pittsburgh, it is phenomenal how much is gone. I mean, that it unbelievable. Like, to eat, how do you even justify building all this and then demolishing 97.5% of it? How do you do that? I find it very interesting, and this is something I have not thought of, is look how high this bridge is coming in here. I'd like to look at that today and see how that transcends into the city and see if they maybe possibly did some viaducting. That's something I need to look into. But why would you build these? I mean, these are not crappy structures. These are well-built brick buildings. Some even are stone. Oh, you gotta love that sign. I mean, come on, that sign is beautiful. Just absolutely beautiful. But like 97.5% of these buildings, they decided were crap, that they had to go. They were just no good. No bueno. It would be a lot bigger effort to explain which buildings are still here, but I have showed you on the maps, and you can double check my work. I'm go ahead and do that. Double check me. Don't just believe everything I tell you. You don't have to do that. I'm not asking you to do that. I'm asking you. I'm presenting something to you, and then you can take it and do your own thinking and figure it out. Figure out what you think. This is just a different angle of the same area. 97.5% is gone. So everything, 97.5% of below this line here in this area. I can almost assure you that everything right here is gone, because I'm pretty sure it's gone. I'm almost 100% sure that everything right here is gone. Just from my memory. But you can go back and watch the videos where I showed this, and I will be making a video at some point with all the findings of the Sanborn fire maps. That's when I finish going through it. I still got a lot to go, so it's very difficult to do what I'm doing. It may sound easy, but it's absolutely not. It is not easy at all. Look at this, is very interesting how they got it viaduct here. This is on this is Pittsburgh right here, so this is across the river from Pittsburgh. Let's see, you see that this mess here. I see that right there. You got a broken glass plate right there, and then this is a problem where you get something on the glass plate negative that eats the collodions, material on the glass and the chemicals on the glass, and it has deteriorated that glass, that image. They tried the best they could to protect them, but sometimes they didn't make it. That's another problem, is taking, they're individually wrapped, individually cased. They're handled very carefully, but they're glass. and so they get damaged. Um, Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. Um, they are glass, and glass is delicate, and they're old. So they're I don't know if glass deteriorates, but I'm sure it doesn't help. Um, Here's another one. Everything right here would be gone. I don't know about the rest of it. Now that doesn't mean that, like, I don't think that tank right there is still there. But I have not done any. This is the Allegheny side. I don't know if there's. Um, I don't know what's still here in the Allegheny area. I have not done that. Although I believe there are Sanborn fire maps that do show that. So that is, I may one day do that. I have some other things I want to do first. So I'm not sure if I'm going to when and if I'll do that. I got bigger fish to fry, as they say. Um, this building right here is just phenomenal. I keep just coming back to it. It's just some sort of train depot. Phenomenal. There's another one. I wanted to look at these because of the research I'm doing. I just wanted, for my knowledge, to be able to look at this and kind of gain some information. These buildings were not in bad shape physically. They were not rotting. They were brick. I don't think that's the reason that they got rid of them. I think they got rid of them because they were too hard to put in HVAC and electrical and plumbing. They were too big. They were not laid out the way they need buildings laid out today. And unfortunately, they're look at how that comes in up above here. That's pretty cool. Unfortunately, it's cheaper to demolish these buildings and build what you need as opposed to try to fixing these buildings to operate the way you need them to operate. And they did this before it was these things were historically protected, which at some point we realized, oh my God, we're tearing down these historical buildings, and we were too late. For 97.5%, y'all. 90, right? Like, think about that number. How incredible that number is. 97.5% gone. I mean, what was there? Like, seriously, what was going on here? They needed to get rid of what in the hell? Look at that opening right there. What's going on there? Like, what in the hell was going on here that they had to get rid of this? There was something going on here that they needed to wipe this place out. That's the old post office right there. That's real near. That's a couple blocks. Yeah, there's the Allegheny Courthouse right there, and that's the Hump Cut District right there. This is right outside the Hump Cut District. The Hump Cut District is right here. But the Hump Cut was just, I'm finding is just like it's like a gateway drug to Pittsburgh and the demolition that was done. I mean, and I know that's like, kind of insane to say, but it's look now, that right there, what you're looking at right there in that image, that is the Hill District. 97.5% of that is gone. 97.5. Matter of fact, everything in this picture, excluding the bottom of the frame, which I don't know about, and the top of the frame up here, which is Allegheny, 97.5 of this area here, 97.5% of that is gone. They fucking demolished it. It's gone. It's no more. It doesn't exist. Why? They're brick buildings. This is gone. This beauty right here, this absolutely gorgeous fucking building is gone. Why? This was a post office. Where the hell do you deliver the letters to? Like, it's shit that make no sense. This is, okay, so Pittsburgh is right here. Okay. 97.5% of what is right here is gone. 97. And I can tell you right now, just right off the tip of my noggin, everything right here is gone. Right on the bottom right there is gone. They just decimated that area. 97.5% of that is gone. This building is still there. And I think that building goes much deeper. And it's a weird, they did something there. That's not a scratch. They did that for a reason. I don't know why. It's like there was something they didn't want you to see. Well, the best I could tell you, it's like the mud came in from this way. This is one of the rivers. There's another river over here, and it came in over top up this way, and then came down to the point of the city. From the best I can tell, and I don't know how much of this is still there. Although there are Sanborn fire maps that could be gone through. You know, I mean, nobody's stopping you from, doing this yourself and doing your own research. Don't believe a damn word I say. Just act like I'm crazy as shit and that nothing I've said is true, and then go try to disprove me. Go do that. I triple double dog dare you. Please do us both a favor. Powerhouse with Canal, Michigan, Lake Superior, Salt Salute, St. Marie, Michigan. Anyways, we looked at this before. This is a different angle. I don't know why those two pictures didn't go together. I'd love to see the inside of this. Look at the construction there. Look at that big pole right there. I don't know what that's about. That's a hell of a thing right there. I don't even know what the hell's going on with this thing. Printing Department, National Cash Register, Dayton, Ohio, 1902. Look at the machinery, how just perfect it is. Absolutely perfect. Perfectly maintained. That dude is totally focused in what he's doing. He's like really on his A game. There's that power wheel contraption thing with the belts. I mean, that machinery is just perfect. They keep it perfect. Arc lights above. Don't you start with me. I'm busy. Go play with your toys. Don't you know how to play with toys? I think you do. Pretty sure. Yeah. Light. Oh, that might not be an arc. That might be just an incandescent light. I think that's just an incandescent light. Zip it, Skippy. Probate court room, Wayne County building, Detroit, 1902. Zip it. Hush. You is the whiniest little bastard I've ever known. You know that? I don't even think your big brother Orwell is this whiny. I don't know, that might be a lie. I think beagles are just whiny. Just whiny, whiny, whiny. See, they got this thing where they whine. They know they can get your attention, and boy, do they know it. They know it's annoying. Florida Lee. Hush, honey. Hey, I'm gonna knock you out. You want the thunder? You want the lightning? Which one you want? Take a pick. Your choice. Buyer's choice. Go on. What here? Let me give you a cookie. Because I know that's what he's going to say. Give me a cookie. Give me a cookie. Give him two. He likes 2 cookies. There, that's 6 cookies tonight. I don't even think that doesn't even count the one you got for getting your manicure. Not that I'm counting. Public Library, Dayton, Ohio, 1902. And they always have these stay off grass signs. It's just so, I know that you can't read it. That's what that says. I guarantee you it says stay off grass. There's another one. They always have stay off grass signs. Why? Why did they not want you walking on the grass? Why is that such a big deal? Who cares if you walk on the fucking grass? It's grass. You walk on it. Why does it matter if you walk on the grass? What's the problem? I don't understand it. Like it's just one of those things. It's like chop suey. You see, they're always serving. The Chinese restaurants are always advertising chop suey. Why? Why that dish? I don't even like chop suey. Why that? Like, of all the Chinese dishes, why is chop suey so popular? I don't know. I have to ask these questions. There's probably no answer. I don't know. Got the checkerboard for you Masons out there, in case you're wondering. Transmission of energy through sidewalks. Hey. Why not? Check out that symbology. Truncated pyramid with the checkerboard. Canthus leaves. Kind of looks like some dragon action right there. Stone finial. That's a pretty building. I think these type benches right here are old world. I think we made versions later that looked like the old that were modeled after the old ones. But I think there were benches that were old world benches. Just one of them thoughts I have. Randolph Street Corridor, 2nd floor, Wayne County Building, Detroit, 1902. That's something you don't see these days. That's a spittoon. I used to know this 90-year-old woman that could sit in a rocking chair and spit across the room, all like 10 feet away, just and nail it every time. She was old. There's another spittoon. Very popular at one point. They were pretty popular still when I was growing up. I remember spittoons being pretty popular, and ashtrays. Like, you could smoke everywhere. Planes, buses, trains, anywhere. You can smoke anywhere, and like it was like a constant thing. There's an egg and dart. Egg representing life, the dart representing death. But you could smoke everywhere. At least in North Carolina, where I grew up. You know that this economy was built on tobacco. I just thought this door was just pretty amazing. Look at the mechanics on that. I mean, talk about wow. I mean, damn. Now that's a hinge. Good grief. Self-closing, like, wow. Like, how do you even think that right there up? Like, that is incredible. Incredible. Uh, Screw Machine Department, National Cash Register, Dayton, Ohio. I don't know why all these pictures aren't saying. This glass plate negative is very broken. You can see lines going up all over the place. Very broken when they put it back together. It's not uncommon to see these broken. Even these machines are, you could see that they're a dirty machine. You see the oil and stuff. They're still pretty damn clean. It's like they clean these machines constantly. Look at all that gearing and pulleys, and all this is run off of one power source, and it's attached to this rod here. So this rod spins and it runs everything in this room. Like, that is incredible. That's an incredible technology. Now granted, it's a little dangerous. Yeah. Yeah. Let's call it dangerous. Yeah. But I think it's quite possible right here. We're looking at old world tech that we found and then figured out how to utilize it, figured out how to use it. Or maybe even we knew how to use it. Maybe there were people that not everybody, but maybe there were people that were still left that knew how to use it. Maybe they just left the fucking manuals lying around. I don't know. Screw Machine Department, National Cash Register, Dayton, Ohio, 1902. There's one of them cash registers they're building. This is the guy that's going to go postal. This one right here. He's the one that's going to shoot the whole place up. Yeah, he's going to lose his shit. This one right here. Yep. That's the one that's plotting against the guys that have been picking on him in the break room. That's the one. Yeah. And this one just, I don't know. This one right, there's some creepy dudes in here. This is like a creepy fest. Alrighty. Stranger danger. Okay. What's up with that? This glass plate negative's cracked to shit too. They must have been right beside the other one. I mean, you imagine you had a box of glass plate negatives, and they would be put in wood crates with separators. But imagine you tripped and fell, and I mean, these would easily break. But they would still be in the box, so when you pulled them out of the box, you could, if they weren't too bad, you could put them back together, and at least see them pretty good. Yeah, it must be awkward to hold that pose, hippie. Yeah, this is South Stairway, second floor, Wayne County, building, Detroit, 1902. Look at the just the quality there. Just absolutely just perfect. Just, I mean, like, come on. Like, we would not do that today. We would. Why would we not do that today? Because we suck. I mean, we just plain suck. Could we do stuff like that today? I would assume we could, but we don't. Why? Because we suck. We're getting worse. Look at Gen Alpha. I mean, I'm sorry, but like a retarded person can work at McDonald's and flip hamburgers and take your order and shit, right? But Gen Alpha, they're not going to be able to do that unless there's a screen in front of them. They're literally it's idiocracy. You go to the hospital and you got a screen and you have to push in what your problem is, and then you got a guy with probes and he's like, stick this one in your in your mouth, and this one in your ear, and this one in your ass, and turn and cough, and the computer tells you what's wrong with you, and like then he gets the probes mixed up. I mean, this is what this is what Gen Alpha is going to create for us. This is the same building, obviously. just a different angle. And you got the swastika here, because swastika was a very, very, very important symbol. Hitler just stole it, so ignore all that shit. They were trying to hide that. There's the egg and dart again. There it is again. Just absolutely phenomenal ceiling. Just beautiful. Torus fields. I'm serious, y'all. This Gen Alpha thing is it's very scary. I thought millennials are like, it's like their cognitive abilities are questionable at best. Gen Z is like, oh my God, what the fuck is wrong with you? And Gen Alpha is like, okay, you're fucking fucked. You're totally fucked. And these kids are they're young. Okay, so we don't even know how bad it is yet. It's not going to be long. Within the next 10 years, you're going to realize we're absolutely fucked. Like, it's over. We're done. Humanity's it's just like, we're going to start over. We're going to literally, Idiocracy was a documentary. It was a prediction. South Stairway, Wayne County building. What that kid say? Oh God, I wish I could remember that one. That was a bad one. Look at that stained glass. This is St. Paul from across the river, 1902. I haven't been to St. Paul, but I have been to Minneapolis, which is across the river from St. Paul. And Minneapolis was super cool. Very cool. I remember we had dinner there in this nice restaurant that had these amazing chandeliers, hand-blown glass chandeliers, just beautiful. I doubt that restaurant's still there anymore. You know how these restaurants are; they come and go. But that was in the '90s. It may still be there. I don't know what it was called, but it was really cool. I remember it was like it was one of them places where you knew you were somewhere special. Pretty neat. Look at that building right there. You just have to wonder, what did the old world use these for? How many? I mean, the amount of people that would be required to fill all the buildings that were in the world. Astronomical numbers. That was another thing I read about the Hill District in Pittsburgh, where they were talking about how in the Hill District, how these how the black people would be living like just piled one on top of the other in a house, that you would have so many people in a room that literally there was not enough room, and they would have to sleep in shifts. That it was so overcrowded. Like, what kind of conditions? I mean, like, it just says unbelievable. Like, unbelievable. People live like that. St. Paul from High Bridge, St. Paul, Minnesota, 1902. Let it lock in. Boom. Okay. A little steamboat there. Power plant steam. Chimney there. There's that same building right there. Well, maybe that's it. Hell, I don't know. Those look the same. One of them's post office, you know. It's got to be post office, because Fred does not go to any post office that doesn't look like a castle. He won't show up. He will not deliver your mail unless you have a castle. That's how Fred rolls. That's how Fred does it. Now, I don't know how about that donkey does it. This is St. Paul, 1902. Another shot. I don't know how that donkey does it, but Fred don't be going to nothing less than the castle. That's just the way it is. Check out that. Big old dome. Moorish architecture. Check out this wall, kind of Star 40 looking right there. Look at the angle right there. Interesting. I have been trying to find it. I cannot find it. I'd love to find LiDAR, a LiDAR website for North Carolina, but I cannot find one that doesn't require an access. You got to have you got to be qualified or something to get on it. I don't understand that. I don't know why. Some places you're allowed to look, and some places you're not. I don't know. I would love to look at North Carolina LiDAR. Anybody has a link to that, let me know. Steps of the Capitol, Albany, New York, from 1900 to 1906. Let lock in, boom, Canthus leaves. Look at that. PE8.
What are you chomping on down there, that bone? Good grief.
Sound like you're destroying the neighborhood. Big old Chompy McGee down here. Look at that light. I mean, come on. I mean, that light is just like redonkulous. Absolutely redonkulous. Too much. It's like, I mean, what was the bill on that? I'm going to bill you for this light, and basically, it's going to break the bank. That light, one light, and we're going to give you like 20 of them things. Why not? Who cares? There's Fred. Fred does what Fred does. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Just come on. Like, why? Why would we build like this? I mean, I know why, but I mean, I know why. Like, how do you, like, you got to understand, like, the way government works, we got to justify we're going to build something like this to the public that's paying the bill. Like, really? Really? You're going to justify that to the public? The public, you're going to talk the public into building that with their money? And they probably don't even have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of? This is Summit Avenue, St. Paul, Minnesota. Get your old gas light there. With Mudflood windows down there in case you need them. There's the Fredettes. Oh, they're so pretty. Yeah, they're just bringing in all the bricks, because they hauled everything in via horses or donkeys, depending on who you're talking to. And you got Mudflood windows down here, arches. Look at that brickwork right there. Very nice. Look at that fountain. Arches. Kind of interesting. What Mudflood windows are back there and over here. They took quite a few of these neighborhood pictures like this, and I think they were trying to show the grandeur of like the Millionaires Rows and stuff, but they just did not. I wish they had just taken individual pictures of the houses. Would have been much better. They did do some of that, but not enough. Capitol from the east side of Albany between 1900 and 1906. So this is that big, beautiful building we were just looking at with the stairs and the lights. And I mean, how many lights we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. I count 23 lights just from that picture of those fancy ass lights. There's another guy that's blurred where he's moved too fast. There's another one right there. See, these guys are moving a little bit too. You see how they're not focused up. Looks like there was some possible people here and here as well. You can kind of see them, the outline of a person, sort of. I mean, how much did one of those lights cost in 1900? I don't even know when they built this building, but I mean, you know, it was built before 1900 because we're in 1900 and 1906. There's a porthole for the wind catcher. There's more wind catchers. See, these windows would open. That was part of the wind catcher. Phoenician shell. These are wind catcher windows. See how they turn on a swivel in the center? That's how you know it's a wind catcher window, as opposed to a regular window. Okay, these are wind catcher windows as well. These are too. Now, a regular window will just open and close up and down. It was the way that these windows opened. Anyways, unscrubbed cartouche with a shield. I wonder if that's to represent an egg or if it's to represent a pine cone. I don't know. Ether finial, stone finial. See, that leaf is, that tree is moving. Must be some wind. Hey, would you quit messing with that, you nut? Big old beagle nut. Like, how much are these lights each? I mean, come on. Really? In this time frame? The Parlor, Lake Montauk House, New York, 1902. Lock in and okay. Give you some interior shots. I saw some idiot the other day talking about how Wicker Man was one of the best horror movies of all time. I'm like, that movie sucked ass. So did the remake. Sucked total ass. Why would you say that? Who would say something like that? Look at the scale design there. Interesting. Look at the ceiling. Jeez. Look at that woodwork. Acanthus leaves. Laws. Adirondines. Scrubbed cartouches. I believe that is old technology. Torus fields. Torus field right there. See how it's wrapped around like a donut? It's a torus field. I believe that represents the flat Earth hologram that we live in. There, that's a torus field. So that's, you know, I believe that's representing the flat Earth right there, or the holographic projection that we're in. I think they were well aware of how this realm works. Look at that Indian. Interesting. You know, it's funny. You look at this room and that picture right there, and you don't really, it doesn't jump out at you that it's that nice. But then when you get into that detail, oh man, oh baby. When the windmill, Hammerstein's Paradise Gardens, New York, between 1900 and 1906. I don't have a clue what this thing is. I saw this. I don't know. It's very strange. Some kind of rickety ass thing here. Really don't know what this thing is. She got the ladies in uniform. That one could be a non-lady. I'm not sure. We'll go there. Well, she looks like she's just straight up devious. Yeah, this thing's weird. It's like a tourist attraction or something. I don't know. It's just very weird. I don't know. 3rd Street Presbyterian Church, Dayton, Ohio, 1902. They lock in. Boom. Okay. There's Fred. There's Fredette. Let me get the chocolate swirl around here. Has some good hooch. Let's see. Cymatic window. Little Mudflood windows down here and here. Beautiful stonework. Ether finial. That's a weird one. I sure would not want to be the shingle person on that roof. Good grief. Ether finial. That would just not be fun at all. Cymatic window. That's a big one. Mudflood windows down there. The ether finial. Kind of weird looking. I don't know. Very strange. That's an arc light, I think. Yep, arc light right there. You see they have the contraption so they could lower it because they had to replace those very regularly, almost daily if I'm not mistaken. It was very regularly. They did not last long. They had a person that they went around and changed them. That's what their job was, is to change the arc lights. Another big church back here. Healing center, so to speak. Here's another one of those turbines, the Lake Superior Powerhouse plants. Salute St. Marie, Michigan. I'm saying that right. Not. Oh, well, it is what it is. Got these contraptions. Some kind of pump or something. I don't know what the heck they are. That's some nice construction. And this is a window in Girls Restaurant, National Cash Register, Dayton, Ohio, 1902. This picture just really is interesting to me for one reason. Maybe you guys will see it too. Just what stood out to me. I mean, yeah, they have, just perfect garments, just absolutely pristine garments. But what just stood out to me was how freaking big that window is. Absolutely, completely, totally, excessively large. Like, how would you open that window? If you said, ma'am, could you open that window? Could she actually open that window? I think I'd have trouble probably open that window. I mean, it probably has a sash, a window sash, with a contraption with the weights in the wall. But that window is just stupid big. You can see this glass plate broke and they put a piece of tape over it. These are the real deal, y'all. I'm not showing you junk here. Okay, and this is just a picture I run across. This is a tenement building in the Hill District in Pittsburgh, early 1900s, I believe. And this is how they were living. And I just thought this image was interesting. Just look at, why would you build like this? You got one one thing going on up here, and then you got this down here. You got a whole nother level down here. Like, why? This area gets snow and rain and floods. Like this is a known thing that Pittsburgh floods like a lot. Like the city like floods. So why would you build where the water would just fill up your fucking house? Why would you do that? What's the point of that, y'all? What's the point? I'm asking you all to critically think about what is going on in these pictures. And I hope that we can figure it out together. And I believe, are the last of the ones that can do that. So I hope you all have a wonderful week, and be good to yourselves and be good to each other. And I will see you very soon. Love, Biggs.
This motherfucker don't miss.
No, he's fucking good.
That motherfucker don't miss, man.
He's good.
In the heat of battle, he don't miss.
No.
In the heat of controversy, he don't miss.
No.
It's a mystery wrapped in a riddle inside an enigma. Don't you get it?
Say woof again! Say woof again!
I've got one that can see.
Welcome to the underground.
This is my kung fu, and it is strong.
See you later.